So we're going to clue you guys in as to exactly what we're talking about. But Ross is, I'm assuming, training on the regular on a paddleboard. We'll give you those details and give you an opportunity to get involved in a wonderful cause. Ross is a awesome dude, very selfless, and we'll give you some details on that here very shortly. But let's say good morning to my guy Jimmy D. I call him Jimmy D. You can call him Jimmy D if you'd like. It's my friend Jim DePolo with the Florida Home Pros team. I always tell you he runs a top producing Keller Williams team. You can find Keller Williams Innovations, the home of the Florida Home Pros. Jimmy D, how you be?
Hey, good everyone. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, sound good.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, because I'm trying new technology. Boy, did I screw everything up. First of all, I forgot to invite Ross on the show. So sorry, Ross. And then
big mistake.
And then I forgot to make us live right away. So everybody that's just getting on live, sorry we're about 3 or 4 minutes late and you missed the intro. And then I just started to type in on the Facebook and YouTube. Well, good morning, everybody. We are live, and I spelt it all wrong and sent it out anyway. So it's starting off to be a great Florida day for Jim.
It could be a new thing. You know, you say happy South Florida. This one, what does it say? G-Pod morning, everybody.
I think what I need to be doing is saying good morning, Florida. We have a new channel on our Facebook, on our YouTube page called Only in Florida. And we love it because I love Florida. So I love making fun of Florida, but I'm here because I love being here. It is paradise, even though it's a little wacky paradise. Speaking of wacky, you know, I remember back in 2012, Johnny, when we started this show, we still have the same intro, even though that the voice has changed and the thing says, navigating today's real estate market can be tricky. Want to buy a house, sell a house, and stuck with the house you don't know what to do? Get the professional advice you need, right? We've been saying that for now 10 years.
That's right.
Well, you know what? For the last 2 or 3 years, I've been thinking, has it really been that tricky? And I was thinking of changing the headline or the intro because, you know, interest rates were hanging around, you know, between 3 and 3.5% for 3-4 years. Property values were going up, but buyers were getting good deals because the interest rates were low. People weren't waking up to how strong our prices could go, and people were buying and selling. It was kind of rocking along. There wasn't a lot of hoopla and drama going on. You went out and did what you needed to do. But I'm telling you, we are now in a very weird time in the real estate market, not just the real estate market, but the national economy. But check this out. You know, one of the top searches in Google right now is real estate housing market or real estate housing bubble. People are just Googling it like crazy because they're wondering, you know, are we coming to a bubble? The headlines that are coming out, you don't know how many things you see on the social media where people are predicting that we're in a super hot bubble like in 2005 and that we're about ready to crash. Interest rates are skyrocketing, and I say that without exaggeration. We're going to talk about that today. Insurance rates are skyrocketing, not joking about that either. And even the National Association of Home Builders, check this out. This is their headline. When the the president of the National Association of Home Builders says this: housing market staring into the face of a perfect storm, right? The real estate market. So we're going to talk about all that today. We're going to try to unwind all the pieces because you know what? Navigating today's real estate market is tricky. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into that trickiness, and we're going to talk about real life examples in some cases when we can about how this market is affecting people or not affecting people, and to take some of the myths out of the market too. There's a lot of myths going on out there. You know, we have more real estate agents in this area, South Florida area, than ever before. I just found out that our Realtors Association of the Palm Beaches, which is connected from basically Miami-Dade County all the way up through Port St. Lucie, that we have nearly 40,000 agents right now. Okay. 40,000, right? I think there's like 12,000 of us just from Keller Williams. It's like we're everywhere, right? Now, just to put that in perspective, when we started this show, there were probably like 8,000 to 10,000 people in the board at that point. So we have 4 times the amount of people, but we have way less inventory, right? So we have way less inventory, but way more agents. So when agents start running around and saying, "Oh, this market's horrible and you can't get anything done and everything," or a lot of those agents aren't trained to be professional real estate agents. A lot of the agents came on board were opportunists. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm not saying the word, it's because sometimes opportunists can sound a little snarky, but it's about people who are saying, "Hey, that might be a good industry to go into because there's a lot of money to be made. And it seems like there's a lot of deals happening." That's what I mean by opportunists. But then when they get in there and they actually have to do the work, that's where it gets a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy, right? You just open the door, right, and let them in. And
yeah, just kind of open the door and you just say, "Hey, you want to buy or not buy it? Yeah, you want to buy this for us? And what do you think?" "Oh yeah, you do want to buy it? Let's put the contract tomorrow. We'll get together tomorrow, write up the contract tomorrow. See how it's going.
You're gonna go play golf or go to the beach for the rest of the day.
Now that we found it, we'll go party for a little while, and then we'll come back and write the contract."
I get it. I see why people would want to do it then,
It is. It's really a very interesting market right now. I got to be honest with you. It's not my cup of tea, this market. I mean, I'm doing great for our customers and everything, but I wish it would change a little bit so that everybody could have an equal shot at trying to get this done. And we'll see how all things are going.
Well, the good news is that at least in the 10 years we've been doing the show, I feel like real estate market is a lot like the weather in Florida. Like if you're not totally into it, just be patient. It's going to change here before we know it. Like it's going to evolve. We've seen it change so much, right? So much over the 10 years that I don't know. People say, "Well, it's not really changing." No, we've seen it change. We've seen the increase in home values. We've seen the sell. I mean, it's not like it's a sideways market. It's not like it has been. We've been in a very much a moving market. So, it's going to change for you here, Jim, whether we're ready for it or not. It's you're quick on your feet. So you're always evolving with it through the 10 years I've been with you.
And here's another thing that's a little, this might be a canary in the coal mine and it might not be. But here's something interesting. In the last 3 weeks, I've had to deal with 2 pre-foreclosures and a person that called us up this week for a loan mod because their COVID situation is over and they went to their bank and now their bank wants to charge the person $500 a month more on the mortgage payment. The guy can't afford it. So now he called us up because somebody told him, "Hey, those guys from the radio show might be able to help you out." So he reached out to us through Facebook, and we're trying to get him over to the law office of Paola Krasker, who specializes in loan mods. So I don't know, is that an inkling of things to come? I'm not saying like there's going to be this tremendous crash, but we're way below what normal foreclosure and short sale market is. We're under 1%, and it's normal 1 to 3%. So that'll be interesting.
Like 100 people waiting to scoop up that pre-foreclosure or foreclosure, you know what I mean? Like it'll be gone in 30 seconds.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And when it comes to loan mods, that refresh my memory a little bit. Loan modifications require some kind of hardship, right? Am I on the right page here? And a $500 obligation or need from the mortgage company to satisfy the code, like that would qualify as a hardship. Mike, am I on this right page?
I mean, it's the I forget now. I forget what the name of the law was when they put the CARES Act. When they put that in, basically didn't specify how lenders had to treat people coming out of the forbearance, but policy wise, they're trying to make it so people stay in their home, Johnny. So a lot of people who don't qualify for a traditional loan modification are just getting a modification because they're wanting to deal with the missed principal and interest payments, and there's also missed escrow payments in there. And so it's up to the lenders what they want to do. I would say that no, you don't have to qualify in a traditional way where you have to have a hardship and you have to show, a certain debt to income ratio that they're gonna calculate. They made it difficult to do the loan mods in the past. I've seen people modified coming out of COVID where they just, stuck everything on the back end, started their payments again, or stuck everything on the back end and started a new 30-year term again. I think a lot of it depends on where were you before March of 2020, right? When the CARES Act kicked in,
Right.
and how were you coming out? So I've seen what Jim has seen. People who were, you had 18 months, right? That's come and gone since when, Jim? So it was March to
March 2020
to
so
December,
that,
I guess, to December
yeah.
of 2021,
September.
right? So this year, if people were struggling making their payments and they didn't talk to their lenders or whatever, they're going to be in trouble. They're the ones who are pre-foreclosure.
So the pre-foreclosure, we're talking odds are good that they were they were deficient, they were behind as we went into the COVID lockdowns, and then just never got
Yeah.
right. So as we're coming
That's
out,
a possibility, or they simply have come out of forbearance and not been able to do what they needed to even consider the loan mod, which is
Right.
typically make 3 payments, maybe the previous payment, whatever it was before. Of course, the major difference, Johnny, is that these people are probably not upside down. Like, that's the major difference. And so, it's probably worst case scenario, but they have an opportunity to sell their home if they really get desperate.
Sure.
If
And then
they
I guess
can't
if
do
you're
the
going to compound
modification.
issues too, like maybe in this time their insurance premiums gone up 60%. Like, I mean, everything, like they're just getting hit harder and harder. So that get back's, more daunting.
Yeah. And even modifying the loan, if they did a traditional modification, it's kind of based on today's rates, right? It's not like, hey, you could set it to whatever.
True.
So that makes it even harder on the traditional loan modification. But
if
Jim,
if we're mentioning something that sounds eerily familiar to you or somebody remember Florida Talk Real Estate is a .com, and that is your access to the entire team. It's your one-stop real estate shop, and we're not talking about loan mods just because. Like, this team has handled in the past, in our last foreclosure real tough times, loan mods were an option. It's one of the tools in the tool belt. It's not like, hey, you're only going to be able to foreclose, and this is when you got to go to people that have a skill set where there's many options. If you go somewhere where they only have the one option, well, guess what? That's what you're going to be doing if you qualify. Go to a team that can give you several options. You determine what's best for you and your family and your outcome. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
Yeah, and John, I've even talked to people who are coming out of that, and they're maybe they were behind, or maybe they came out and they're just struggling making their payments, and they're trying to do maybe like a cash out refinance, right? Kind of reset the clock, start a new loan, maybe get some cash to do projects, or kind of dig them out of a hole. And those people really are in a tough spot, because if you've got late payments reported in the last 12 months, and they would have been reported just these most recent months,
right?
You're kind of you're not able to qualify. Not number one, it's hit your credit in a bad way, right? Probably put you below the qualifying level, and also those late payments. And so these people who have a lot of equity in their home, and they're just like, why can't I get to it, right? Why can't I access that? It's going to really, really help me out. And I just have to say, you just don't qualify. It's just not. I mean, the reality is the credit history, at least, forget about what actually happened in real life. The credit history says that you're not a good bet to repay this loan per the terms of the agreement, and so that makes it tough to get the new loan.
Yeah, it sure does. And like you said, having all that equity in your house and it, that's a frustrating place to find yourself. But also a good example of how being proactive can be very beneficial. Talking to your bank, communicating about this process, and it's not a lecture if you're not in that position, but definitely go to people that can give you options. That's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
Mike, over the last couple of years, what do you think the percentage of loans had the were with down payment less than 10%?
Oh,
there a lot of them, or were they mostly higher down payment?
No, I would say, I mean, for my personal pipeline, I would say a lot of them are less than. Well, let's use 20% as the threshold, right? Like how many people are doing 20% down? I mean, it's more than half that are less than that. Lower down payment. That doesn't mean first-time home buyers, right? It just means you don't have the 20%.
Right.
But
I'm just wondering kind of the different like kind of environment where we are in as far as compared to 15 years ago.
I mean, the
where they were
major
just giving
difference,
away 100% LTV loans.
right, or even 105%, right, where you can finance 100% of the loan and 100% of the closing costs. And so I would say
580 credit score.
Yeah. Well, credit. Who cared about credit, right?
Yeah, and no job.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, kind of, that's a different environment than we are in now.
I mean, I would say the major difference is what it takes to qualify for the loan. Not only do you have to have some skin in the game, right? Like that, you still have to have that 3.5%. 3% is the lowest down, or 0% with the VA loan. But 3.5%, 5%. Those are kind of the low down payment options, and we're still qualifying income like we've been since 2012, right? Pretty strict ability to repay rules. You got to have a job. You got to document it. Your employers have to verify. Like, this is none of that has changed. Are the ratios a little more lenient than, they're not more lenient than they've been, but like if you could take just as a ballpark 50% of your gross wages and use that to qualify for the housing obligation plus your existing car payments, credit cards and stuff. So, just as an example, if you're bringing in $4,000 a month gross, right, which will put you at $48,000 for an annual salary, you can qualify for a $2,000 a month mortgage payment if you didn't have any other payments. And some people are in that spot, right? Like, oh, I don't have a car payment, right? I have very little credit card payments. Well, that's fine. So you max out, you get the $2,000 a month on your mortgage, which is probably pretty tight from a budget perspective when you're making $50,000 a year. But what happens when you need to go get a car, right? Now things get really, really tight. And so, in that respect, I do see some people who are qualifying for a payment that I know based on their rent history and their ability to save is probably going to be very, very tight for them. But that's probably the biggest thing that gets me a little bit nervous sometimes is that, you can get into a payment that I can tell from your history is probably pushing where you should be.
No wiggle room.
The other thing I'm going to be nervous about with the mortgage industry, though, itself is going to be now with these rates going up and up, and we're going to have all these buyers start fleeing, right? Because they can't afford to buy what they want to buy with the high prices, the high insurance, and high interest rates, like a triple whammy, perfect storm for them. Is I'm afraid that lenders got to make money. So at some point, at some point, what's going to happen is that we're going to have to we're going to see if the lenders start coming up with these
creative ways of
improving. They're going to start doing like the ARMs, the adjustable rate mortgages are going to be starting pushed and be more popular, or like no credit loans and things like that, no credit proof loans and things, no income reported. Are they going to start pushing that pretty hard to get people to buy when they can't afford the traditional way, which is how we got in trouble the last time? That to me is going to be the really big canary in the coal mine when we start seeing that being pushed.
I will be surprised if it goes that direction, Jim.
Good, that would be good. I would be happy.
Yeah, I'm not a predictor guy, but I think those lessons were learned. Maybe what I see is maybe more help on the cash side, right? Like,
yes.
Government or state and county-based grant programs, or there's even some national programs which are like, we help down payment assistance essentially. So, which to me is even scary too. Like, you're not able to save, and it's a lot of money we're talking about. I get it, right? Like, not everybody can save thousands and thousands of dollars in a short period of time, and I'm saying like 1 or 2 years, right? It's even hard to save up enough over that amount of time. But if based on your current rents, right, and you're going to get into a mortgage payment that's at or maybe even above or slightly below what you're paying in rent, and you're not able to save money, like, how does getting help to get in the home benefit you. You know what I mean? Like, it seems
Well,
to me that's a little bit scary.
Let me play I could understand that, but let me play a little devil's advocate about that.
Yeah.
This show specifically has done tons of down payment assistance programs, the good ones, the ones that were worthwhile doing. There's some programs out there that I just don't feel is in the buyer's benefit. And we tell them that, but we give them the option. But back in the day, I don't remember what it was called because of the brain fog, I guess, or age or both. But back in the day, you could get really good down payment assistance. I remember people were getting between 10 and 15,000, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, there was one that was like the gold standard, which was in St. Lucie County. It was $15,000, and it was forgivable
after 5 years.
So every 5 years, 3%. I'm sorry.
20%.
20%. Yeah, 20%. Sorry. 20% of that 15,000 would be chipped off every 5 years. So as long as you made your mortgage payment and lived there for 5 years, you no longer had that $15,000 obligation.
And that was crucial was crucial to get so many of our buyers. And they had a similar program for Broward and Dade and Palm, but it was only like 10,000, 7,500. It was 7,500 for the southern counties, and then St. Lucie they had it double 15,000, right?
And you're able to get into the house and build wealth via home ownership. I think that's where you're headed with it, right?
Well, also that we didn't have any of those people. We put dozens and dozens of people in there because that program was out there for several years. And we put lots of people in that program. I don't remember any of those people, at least the ones that we put into the program, defaulting. So when you say that, later on defaulting because they couldn't afford it. So to me, it was like that little push to get them from renter to homeowner. And then once they solidified and became the homeowner, even though it was a little risky of them coming in a way, because they didn't have the skin in the game that most people do. Yeah. They still acted like traditional American homeowners. The whole reason why we got in that trouble back in the day, the big economic crash in 2006, is the reason why they came up with all those cockamamie mortgages and crazy mortgages where you just fog a mirror and you get the loan and then securitize them into stocks, was because Americans don't default on their home. That's been our history since the 1950s. Americans buy homes and they keep it. And if they get in financial trouble, the mortgage payment is the last payment and we're going to stop paying, right? That's just the way we've been. That's why everybody wanted a piece of the stock market that was related to our mortgages. So with those people that moved into the down payment assistance programs, they acted just like everybody else. They didn't act like, oh, it's free money, I don't care about this house. To them, it was like, hey, this is my house, building equity going in. Johnny, I don't think you got the program, right? I think
we did. We got 10,000.
Yeah.
But it wasn't forgivable. It was a second mortgage. So when we did our refi, that had to be satisfied. But it was still worth it. It was there were several factors in our home buying experience that enabled us, because we were in that boat that so many are. We're saying we can afford the monthly payment, but man, I don't have the skin to put in the game. But there was a few things that came together, including $10,000 down payment assistance, which again was a second, and you only pay it back and if you refi or sell the home. So we had to deal with it in our refi. But you know what? We wouldn't be in this home right now if it wasn't for that and a few other factors that were very, very important and integral in us becoming homeowners. And none of it happens without FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
Well, thank you, Johnny. And the other thing is that we have the money. This is the interesting part, because I was thinking about this while I was driving around, because I'm crazy. I do think about this stuff when I'm driving around my car and I don't have anything else to do. I actually think about this stuff, right? I was actually thinking about the down payment assistance programs back in the day we used to use. And I think what they're going to do is, especially Florida is sitting on a lot of money from COVID that they got that they didn't use.
Nope. We're good at that. We're good at taking federal dollars, and not using it. Yeah, and just we're like, screw it. We'll just be like 48th in the state in this, and just never use the money.
Yep. So it's so true. So what I think is going to happen is, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, I could imagine where they're going to take significant funds from that COVID program and say that the COVID program could be used for down payment assistance. And it's kind of related to COVID in a way because of the restricted of the inventory. This is how I know, Johnny, you're making faces, and I'm with you, but I'm just telling you, this is how politicians are going to spin it. You know, being a former guy that used to do that for a living and watch this live, right, in the newspaper business, these guys are going to come up and say they're going to use the COVID money and they're going to try to help something. Now, it might be down payment assistance. Who knows? Are we going to have? They might take the money and put it into the insurance fund, which we're going to get to with Ross Komarinetz from Brightway Insurance Juno today, because, oh my gosh, we've been talking about this, but Ross, are we in a crazy time right now?
Oh, it's insane.
Did you see the front page of the Post today?
No, not yet.
Oh, wait till I tell you about the front page of the Post today. If you guys haven't read the front page of the Post today, who's listening, you might want to read the banner story at the top.
I can't remember the last time I read the front page of any newspaper.
You guys, that's why I'm out of the business, because you guys don't read.
Jimmy, what do you think about this for the use of that
extra? Into a real estate agent.
Instead of down payment assistance, how about we incentivize builders, right, to build low income housing? How about that? Get to the builders.
You have to have the county, the cities and the counties have to be willing. I read, Jim, the other day that I think it was Stewart, I think, refused some development for a little like middle to lower income. I want to say it was Stewart.
Oh,
again, it was a headline grab. I don't want to lie to you. I didn't read the whole article.
I had to get through the paywall for that.
Exactly. I was like, I didn't see that headline, but I'm not going to talk about it today. But there was an affordable housing program that was approved up in Riviera Beach, like a complex. And I was reading the thing, and I'm like, this isn't even going to put a scratch, let alone a dent, into the affordability market. Right. I mean, we're in so much trouble with that.
What was it, Jim? Like 30 homes or something? 35
Yeah, it
homes?
was like 20. Yeah, they were building 150 homes, and like 30 of them were going to be, like one of those things. And
I think the one I was referring to was like 75 homes. Like it was not a huge change for sure.
And
but still, we got to get the ball rolling.
And when you can see what they consider affordable, we'll get to that on the next show. But so we got all this stuff going on right now. So this is a tricky market. It's super tricky. Okay. Okay. We're on the flip side. We're going to go right into the insurance first. If you guys aren't keeping up with your insurance bill, what's been going on in the insurance industry, we've been talking about it for probably 8 months with Ross Komarinetz about things going on.
2 years.
2 years we've been talking about this?
COVID. And right around COVID started is when we started noticing everything, because when the rates would go up, people would be like, "Is this because of COVID?"
Wow, that is so wild. So time goes by so fast. So we're going to be talking about this, but now we were definitely on a snowball at the top of the hill, but now we're deep in the middle of the hill, or the lower third of the hill, and we're getting bigger and bigger, and we're going down fast. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that numbers, and I don't even know how to defend yourself from this. So we're going to find out from Ross about best practices to not really save money. I'm not going to tell you you're going to save money, but to get the best policy for you that's the most affordable out there. Let's put it that way without exaggerating. Ross is still giving us a shoulder shrug. So he's like, I don't know how to do that, but we're going to talk about it when we get back.
Now, yeah, one thing you need to do in life is find people that are not only good at what they do, but great at what they do, and hang on to them for everything you need. And I got a team of pros. It's your one-stop real estate shop. We've dubbed it that because you have access to the entire team. Man, is this team so dedicated to not only the team, but their own individual expertise. They're fantastic at what they do. I can say it through experience. I know you're like, well, you're on the show, Johnny. Of course you have to say. I don't have to say it. I can just take us to break. It's that simple. I'm telling you, FloridaTalkRealEstate.com is legit, y'all. I've used it. I have friends and family that use this team. Even if you don't need every aspect of the team, don't be shy. Go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Find them on Facebook, YouTube, Florida Talk Real Estate. Everything from buying a home, selling a home, and as Jimmy D noted earlier, If you're stuck with a home and you don't know what to do, man, I hope that's not the case. But we'll have options for you. And when I say we, I mean this team, FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, your one-stop real estate shop. If you want to be part of the show, 4-minute break. We get back to it, including your phone calls at 877-927-6969. Thank you for being with us every Saturday. Count them up. 4 minutes from now, we're back at it. Florida Talk Real Estate right here on Real Radio.
What's a Real Radio podcast? It's Real Radio on demand. Find your favorite show at realradio921.com.
It's Colin Coward. Here's what's trending from iHeart Sports Network, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
The Dolphins showing the money to Xavier Howard, giving him the most lucrative contract ever for a cornerback. Miami Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra says he's thrilled for former point guard Tim Hardaway, who makes the Basketball Hall of Fame. The Hurricanes baseball team opening their weekend series against Duke with a victory. The Florida baseball team couldn't come away with Game 2 as the Gators struggled to quiet the Georgia Bats. I'm Frank Arity.
Stunning design, unmatched intelligence, and a compact ready-for-anything build. Sometimes exceptional is the rule. The 2022 Mercedes-Benz GLA, member of the unrivaled SUV family. Learn more at MBUSA.com. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation, because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Yep, that's toll free, 877-927-6969. If you got questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate, something we're talking about, something that's just eating at your craw, pick up your phone, dial. We give you ample opportunity. It's 2 hours every Saturday, 9 until 11. We call it 2 hours of infotainment, bunch of information, hopefully a little entertainment for you. Thank you for being a part of it. Tuning in on the radio, 92.1, 101.7, maybe your iHeartRadio app. We are worldwide. And we go live on Facebook, Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook. Thanks for joining us. And YouTube as well, Florida Talk Real Estate LLC. They're on YouTube streaming live every Saturday. Johnny C, well, that's me. Good morning. Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. How are you?
I'm doing great this morning, Johnny.
Excellent.
You're doing good. Where is that? Is that LA? Your hat there. Is that the LA
Dodgers?
Dodgers? Okay, Dodgers.
Yes,
Got it.
yes, yeah. I know the color scheme throws you off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm thinking Raiders, and or I don't know who else could the Kings maybe. Like,
Yeah,
Dodgers,
Kings. Yeah, no,
MLB.
that's a World Series champion lid from
Okay.
a couple of
Yeah.
years ago. There, yeah,
Got it.
hoping to stack
think-
another one of those this baseball season.
You can't say LA Raiders anymore.
No,
So,
you can't. No, that would be the Las Vegas Raiders.
LV.
Yeah,
LV
LV,
Raiders.
baby. Those are the melodious tones of Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Good morning, Ross.
Juno, that's right. Good morning, everyone.
And of course, Jimmy D's with us on a Saturday, y'all. That's Jim Paola. You know, he runs the top producing Keller Williams team. It's the Florida Home Pros team. Jimmy D, how you be?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy South Florida.
You're going Ren and Stimpy there with a little happy, joy.
Yeah, happy, joy. Right.
Happy.
Hey, let's get right into it because we got a bunch of stuff. We're going to be talking about what's going on with the insurance market right now. After that, we're going to get into interest rates. Scott's going to be talking about our upland house in Port St. Lucie. Boy, do I love the house that we're selling up there. Can't wait to talk about that. We put it on yesterday. And we're going to be talking to, sorry about the reverb. We're going to be talking also about some of the other properties that we have coming on the market. The reason why we're talking about future properties coming on the market, the inventory is so tight. You might be listening and go, hey, that sounds exactly what I'm looking for. So you'll give us a call. We can talk to you about it. And we're going to move on. So Ross, let's get into the homeowners insurance stuff first. So we've been talking about this for a long time, and the Palm Beach Post came out with a front page headline today. I was going to be talking about insurance anyway, but then when the Post article came out, I was like, wow. Hold on here 1 second because I can't get it on my computer, Palm Beach Post, because your login sucks. So now I have to do it on my phone.
I saw an interesting headline in the insurance world the other day, which was to me really indicative of how things have been going. So Ross has been talking about premiums going up for 2 years and how Citizens has shifted from this insurer of like last resort to almost insurer of best option now for so many folks. And now they're to the point where I think in August, they're going to determine whether or not they have an 11% increase because they're taking on I'm sure it has everything to do with they're taking on so much more risk that they got to find a way to kind of level off the coffers. Ross, you think that's going to happen for them in August?
Definitely.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, they have to keep their rates are artificially low because of the laws. Right. So, all these other carriers are having 40% rate increases, 25, 30%, all these huge rate increases. And Citizens is just kind of just inching along, but they're taking on way more risk, because they're the only option right now.
Yeah, in the last 2 years, how much more Citizens policies are you writing?
Pardon?
How much more policies for Citizens are you writing in the last 6 months alone?
I mean, so I haven't looked in since July, but in July I looked in last summer because I wanted to see. In July of 2020, over the last 10 years, I had 250 Citizens policies on my books in July of 2020.
Okay.
250. In July of 2021, I had 750.
Oh.
So in a year, I wrote 500 policies. Over the last 10 years prior to that, I had written 250. Wow. So it's We're just, I mean, every single policy we write right now is Citizens.
Every policy.
I mean,
According-
99% of them. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
everyone,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
we get
according-
the brand new house, you know, things like that. But
Go ahead, Jim.
According to the Post article, which is exactly what Johnny was reading about, they're voting to see if they might hold a special session to increase the premiums by 11% for Citizens. Right now, about 5,000 new policies every week are being written by Citizens. Now, the interesting part of that is half of all the Citizens policies that are in effect right now are Miami-Dade Broward.
yeah,
Miami Broward and Dade Broward and Palm. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Dade Broward. I counted Miami-Dade as 2 counties.
if your house is over 15 years old, it's a 99.99% chance that Citizens is going to be $1,000 cheaper than anybody else.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So of course everybody's going for that. So what Citizens is doing is they're so low. They're like the dollar store for insurance right now. That they don't want the policy, so they're trying to raise the rates so to push people to the private companies. The problem is there aren't that many private companies, and the problem that we're having, the reason why everybody's fleeing or fleeing into Citizens if they weren't there, is because 4 of the insurance companies went bankrupt since April 2021.
Yeah, we've had 6 companies go out of business in the last 2.5 years.
Yeah, and
My insurance company liquidated.
Yep.
You call it
Yours
yours
was
too,
one of
bro.
them. And I've been telling people over the I've been telling you, Johnny, for the last probably 4 years, like you might want to get away from them, but in the end, anybody who didn't have a claim with that company, I mean, made out like bandits, because now you go get that same policy or go get new insurance from that company. You're probably paying, a lot of the times we're seeing it like twice as much.
Yeah. So my decision making was in it was a gambler's mentality.
You lucked out.
I lucked out. I did. And I'd rather be lucky than good more times than not. But I was like, man, I can spend almost $2,000 more a month and have probably a better road in a claim if need be, or I can save this money. And I know if I ever have to file a claim with this company, it's not going to go well. Like, it's going to be a knockdown, drag out fight to get anything from them. Ross has been telling me since day one, like, oof, that's terrible. And I was like, yeah, but look at, he's like, wow, that's again, they were giving me 1% discount for renewal the last 3 years. Who was doing that?
Right.
I mean, it's like,
buddy,
they weren't even paying attention to what was going. It's like they just never even looked at any of their expenses over the last 5 years. Like, their premiums did not change over the last 5 years.
It was insane. So I did roll the dice. Now I'll be kind of getting back into the norm here. But 99.9% chance I'm going to be with Citizens.
Hey, I think I wanted to work for that insurance company, because that sounds like kind of like a George Costanza insurance company that had no idea what they were doing, but they were operating for a while. And I have this vision of all the employees over there being super happy and all that. And they're just living in their own world. And then all of a sudden they go bankrupt.
It sounds like
they bought a company 5 years ago.
I'm sorry?
They even bought a company 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Listen, if I'm in the insurance business and my credo from the beginning is let's take in premiums and let's never pay a claim, then you can charge whatever the hell you want, right? And then as low as you want, is because you just know you're going to deny all claims, right? Or you may be a certain percentage. I mean, I don't know if that was the case or not, but if that's how you're operating from the beginning and you don't have a long game and you're like, hey, let's do this for 5 years and make money for our investors and get out,
Yeah. So
Ross is no comment.
So how do you deal with this, Russ? So if you're buying a house, if you're in the process of buying a house or selling a house, but let's focus on the buying first, because it can get kind of complicated. Okay. So if you're buying a house, as the consumer, how closely do you have to be talking to your mortgage person and your insurance person to make sure that the mortgage person isn't underestimating the estimated insurance for the budget on what they're trying to buy. You understand what I'm saying? Because with us, we always try to, at our team, the Florida Home Pros, we always work with you and Mike to make sure that all our customers know the budget all the time. And in fact, right now, it seems like every 7 to 10 days, all our buyers are going back to Mike and trying to reset based on these crazy interest rates that are going. Well, not crazy, but the rising interest rates that are going, to make sure that they don't, the budget hasn't changed too dramatically. But now insurance is just as important. It isn't just the interest rates. It's like a double whammy. So how do you know that your mortgage guy and your insurance guy are giving you the right information? Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say Ross knows because he's going to have LOs calling him, be like, "Oh my God, Ross, I got to have this number in order to make this work." So that's probably your barometer, right, Ross? Like, how many times do you have loan originators calling you desperate to get a number?
It happens. It hasn't happened a lot lately. Every once in a while, we've got to bare bones it, and but I mean, if your mortgage guy isn't talking to your insurance guy, or isn't talking to an insurance guy and not using real numbers, then I don't know how you can rely on anything, a pre-qual letter if he's not using any real numbers. Just because the numbers are so crazy, you don't know what they're going to be.
So I'm sorry, I have one question, Mike, before you ask. Do you recommend that every time that you're turning an offer on a house, that the insurance estimate for that house should be in consideration before as you structure your offer? Is that what you guys are recommending, or wait until you get into contract?
I mean, I would find out what it's going to be first, because a lot of people, it could be an old frame house, whatever it is, and all, 1958, but it's big, and so, it's $6,000.
Mm-hmm.
That could, you could afford the mortgage payment on whatever your offer is, but you didn't factor in having to pay $500 a month in insurance. You're probably thinking 2-3. So, if you're not getting that up front and knowing what it could be, then I don't know. I feel like you're going in blind.
How about you, Mike?
I mean, I've always done it the same way, which is, my pre-approval, I don't spit out a generic pre-approval and send you out shopping, right? So I'm always very cognizant of numbers on individual homes, right? And that's how we can have such a high success rate as far as getting into contract and actually closing, Jim. It's like it's not 100%, but it's pretty damn close to 100% over all the years we've been working together. And I do that with every agent that I work with. And the only way in my world, like, I would be so uncomfortable spitting out a generic approval, pre-approval at 400,000, knowing that they might be looking at what Ross just said, a home that's going to be, $3,500 a year on insurance versus $6,000 a year on insurance. And so when you're making offers, I like to look at the home. I like to look at the roof. I like to look at the windows. Are they covered? Do they have shutters? Are they impact? Is it frame? Is it block? Like, I'm looking at those things when I'm putting numbers together, so that we can be sure before you're in contract that you're going to get numbers that work and you can actually close.
I have two questions real quick. The first thing is, when you're selling your home, should you be starting to check on the insurance policies or check on the insurance policies to make sure that you kind of understand when you're trying to push the limit for the higher price in this time, which is what all sellers are doing, that the numbers are still going to work? Do you think that's worthwhile, Mike, to do that, like with a seller?
I mean, listen, if you were if you thought you had a strange insurance situation, it would behoove a seller to make that information known so that buyers who are making offers can anticipate that, right? And so you're kind of like, well, I'm not going to do the work for the buyer or the buyer's loan originator or the buyer's agent. But if like, we've come across that, Jim, right? Like, you're trying to sell a log home. Well, guess what? That log home is going to be different, right? Or you've got a 27-year-old, shingle roof, or maybe 19-year-old shingle roof, or whatever it is, that's going to be different as far as insurance goes. So, I it couldn't hurt, but you might scare away some people, but you might be scaring away the right people, people who can't close.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather know up front and then it's much better for the seller to know up front than to go in a contract and then go out of contract and go back on market. That doesn't look good. My second question.
Tim, let me ask you this real quick. How many listing agents are saying, hey, what's your current insurance policy? Let's use that as the barometer. And how
it happens all the time. When I go to listings and I talk about insurance, all the homeowners say, well, they could just use my insurance policy. I'm like, it doesn't work that way.
And whoever your insurance is with, they're probably not even writing business right now.
Right, exactly. Your insurance company is out of business. Out of business for new customers. You just don't know it. Ross, let me ask you this other question though. I just popped into my head. If insurance is turning into a big issue, is it the same for like condos? Where you only have basically contents insurance and like drywall out. Are those insurance policies like better? Is it really just a single family home issue, or is this across the board?
Condos are going up a little bit, those premiums are lower in general. Mm-hmm. So when you see it go up from, 900 to 1200 numbers wise, you're like, well, it's not that bad, but that's a 30% increase.
Right.
But so we are seeing those increases, but it's, I guess percentage wise, the dollar figure isn't as big just because those premiums are typically lower in general. But I think when you're asking, I'll give you
an example on that. So Ross, back in the day, I might be able to estimate somebody for an H06 or an interior policy at like $75 a month.
Yeah, $1,000 a year.
And so now I might be at $125 a month, right? So that's pretty significant increase. It's not that much on the payment, but it's an increase.
Right? Yeah, percentage wise, it's a good size increase, but dollars wise, it's not.
Mm-hmm. It's really crazy. So what are I was going to say, give me 3 tips, Ross, on what to do if you're trying to get insurance in today's market. But I'm not going to say a number of tips because you might only have one or something. I don't know. So shop around, maybe. I don't know what else to say. And I don't even know if you can shop around. So what do you do if you're a home buyer? Make sure that you understand your numbers on the house that you're buying. I guess that's a good tip, right? Know your numbers. So if you're buying the house or you're putting an offer on the house, talk to your insurance agent, find out potential premiums, and then talk to your mortgage broker or loan officer to make sure that everybody's on the same page as you're structuring the offer. Is that a good tip?
Yeah, find out what that premium is going to be as early on as possible, and get those inspections as early on as possible. That way, what you've got time to get out, or now you're like, okay, this is awesome. I can move forward and let's keep going.
And Mike, do you have any tips from the mortgage perspective?
Yeah, just because I know that people don't kind of do it the same way we do, which is like really look at all that stuff before you're in contract. I would just say within your inspection period, get your 4-point, get your win mitt, get those over to your insurance agent as quickly as possible so that as early as possible if you have a problem.
Well, then I have corollary A for Mike's tip.
Okay.
If your team is doing it that way, you need a new team. You got to do it up front. You got to do it up front.
Tough.
I know you said that that's the way we do it, but I'm just saying if you got people doing it the other way, you're not doing it the best way. I'm not saying it won't work. It might work anyway, and you might get through it, but it's not the best way because you might get a unknown
Jim, it's a very distinctive, and I don't know how unique we are. And I think that you're not working with a ton of LOs, right? Like I'm your go-to guy, right?
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
my go-to guy.
the normal is you spit out a generic pre-approval, right? Like, hey, you're pre-approved for $400,000. That in and of itself, not insurance notwithstanding, is problematic, right?
Right.
But insurance is a key component, and you're out there shopping kind of anything at 400,000 or close to it, making offers. And so it's just, for me, it's like you don't even have the information you need to even make the offer, because you don't know what your monthly is going to be, and you don't know how much cash is going to be required. So I think it's just a different mindset, and I don't know. Am I talking too loud?
No, I was just saying Ross next.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Point
So
at Ross.
he was like, lower it down. So keep it down, Mike. But so I don't know. So I mean, I much prefer my method, even though it's a little bit more work on this end. I just want people to have information. What did we say, Johnny? Informed decisions, right? You got to have the information to even know what you want to offer, especially in this market, right? Can you go over ask? How far over ask can you go? Is it going to work? Can you expect the close? I mean, those are paramount, prime questions in my mind.
Ross?
I was going to say, I mean, it happens all the time where, I don't know who the mortgage broker is. It's just an insured that's been referred to me. And, I'll send them the quote, and 2 weeks later, I'll hear back from them. They're like, my mortgage guy told me the insurance would only be this. Why is it so expensive? Well,
yeah.
Is your mortgage guy an insurance guy too? Well, if he is, if he can get you that number, get that number. That number doesn't exist. I don't know what to tell you, But for the seller side, I would have your sellers get at least a 4-point inspection, $75 to $100. That way, up front, they'll know what issues that are on there that may need to be fixed in order to sell the house. Just because 99% of the time, Citizens is the company that's writing the policy, and they require all of the supporting documents to be submitted within 5 days. So you need a clean 4-point in order to pretty much maintain a policy with them. So as a seller, if your hot water heater doesn't have a TPR valve, okay, then you can throw that on there, or if it shows a double tap in the breaker box, you can get that fixed. That way, when your seller comes in, he gets a clean 4-point. There's no issues, and you can go to a closing.
Or a roof that's at the end of its life.
We're going to be doing that with the customer right now. The house that we're going to be putting on the market, we're going to go ahead and do a roof certification. The roof is older, but it's in good shape. We want to make sure the roof certification has the right useful life on it. And then as soon as we get the roof certification, we're going to go back to Ross and see what Ross says.
Yeah, or it could even be like, so you do that. I like that, Ross. I haven't heard that before, and sellers will be like, why would I pay that? You might find out that you should only be considering cash offers, right? Or special type of finance offers, which normally would be like not good news. I think in this market, it's fine, right? You just know, take those cash offers seriously, because you're going to have some issues, and maybe, negotiate up front, like, hey, we're not doing anything with the roof. You're going to have problems with insurance for this. You could still get a good offer, which is kind of crazy, but it's the world we live in.
I mean, poly pipes, if you're poly pipes right now, hopefully you don't have them.
I mean, we had poly pipes on a 50-year-old manufactured home with an original roof, right? So we we had to know what we were dealing with there as far as getting an insurance policy. So.
Hey, let's go ahead and take a break. But I'm going to ask you guys something. I saw Mike put a private note to me. Is my audio really, really bad right now?
I was just saying we could test it if when you're not talking, you could just mute and see if it's your mic that's picking up the feed.
Because I'm not hearing anything on mine, the feed. Okay.
You have a little button on your mic that mutes you. Is that what he has? Is that what I see there, Johnny?
Yeah, there is. Yep. I think we've tried that in the past, though. I don't know if it's going to be as effective as maybe we're hoping.
I just muted myself. Did it make a difference?
No.
I mean, we haven't had any reverberation. I think when you hold the mic close to yourself, it doesn't. I think that's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Maybe
okay, guys, let's go ahead and take a break now. On the flip side, we're going to be talking about interest rates. This is big news. This is probably, other than the insurance, which is really big news too, the interest rates is like real estate news. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about what's happening in the market with that, what it means to you as a seller or buyer. And if you're thinking about buying or selling in the next 2 years, you're going to want to listen to this segment to figure out like what you should be expecting. And maybe you're going to say, maybe I should do it now. And maybe you're thinking, hey, 2 years might be too early. Maybe I'm going to wait 4 years. I don't know. So, but if you're thinking about doing something, you're going to want to catch the next segment.
Beautiful. And the good news is 4 minutes away. We're going to take a quick little break. We'll be back at it 4 minutes from now. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, don't be shy. Dial 877-927-6969. Jimothy online. Yep, we'll get you on the air. Absolutely be a part of the conversation with your questions, comments, concerns. If you're not comfortable on air, totally understand. I'm on the same boat with you. Go to floridatalkrealestate.com. It's your one-stop real estate shop. You'll find the hotline there, 888-973-7828. You can call that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, answered by a live body. Get you connected to the pros, the team that I recommend for all of your real estate needs. It's Florida Talk Real Estate, and that's a .com, your one-stop real estate shop. Florida Talk Real Estate back at it 4 minutes from now. Thanks for being with us every Saturday right here on Real Radio.
When you give up trying to teach your parents how to use their smart speaker and take it home, tell your smart device to play Real Radio 92.1 on iHeartRadio.
This report is streamed live on our iHeartRadio app. Download it now.
Going to be an active day across South Florida. First, heat and humidity, and then storms. I'm CBS 12 storm track meteorologist Zach Covey. High temperatures today in the 80s to low 90s. Partly cloudy skies through about 3 p.m. Then we get those showers and storms developing by the 5 o'clock hour, some of which could be strong with damaging winds.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Sometimes it feels like your business is going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. Dell Technologies advisors have the Windows PCs and tech you need to help you get past whatever's in front of you. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because FloridaTalkRealEstate.com has you covered. That's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
This is WZZR FM, West Palm Beach, Real Radio 92.1, powered by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Been in an accident? Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
That is your toll-free number. And do not be shy to pick up your phone and use it. We got about 50 minutes remaining for you. Tons of information to get into and plenty of time for your phone calls with your questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate. 877-927-6969. Jimothy will line you up. We'll get you going. Of course, Johnny C., that's me. Let's say good morning to Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Good morning once again there, Michael. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning back at you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very kindly. And Ross Komarinetz is with us from Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning, everyone.
And I know we
Turtle Fest across the street today.
What happened?
Turtle Fest at Loggerhead Marine Life Center across the street today.
Oh, I love that.
Is that a food thing or a conservation thing?
I hope it's not a food thing. They will have food there, but I don't think it's going to be turtle soup and turtle bites and
turtle croquettes,
chocolate-covered turtles.
Yeah,
turtle fins.
Yeah. Hey, Ross, I like that shirt. That color is really nice.
Well, thank you. It's part of some of our new fresh gear.
I like it.
It is sharp. We teased earlier, like right out the gates, about how Ross is prepping for a really great cause on a paddleboard. We got to get into those details before we say goodbye today, because people got to know. If they don't know, they got to know so they can be a part of a wonderful fundraising opportunity. And literally, if we all just give like a couple bucks, like all of us, Ross gets this huge number, and he's got a goal. And if we can shoot way past it, hell, he may be past it already, but we'll get into those details in a second. Let's say good morning to Jimmy D, Jim DePola. Always tell you he runs a top producing Keller Williams team. Well, that's the Florida Home Pros, y'all. Jimmy D, how you be?
Hey, good, Johnny. Happy South Florida, everybody. We're going to get into interest rates in just a little bit. But first, what I want to do is I want to get Scott on the air because he's getting ready to stage an open house for us, and love to talk to him about that.
Let's do it then. I believe he is on hold. That's Scott Spainhour, one of the amazing aspects of the Florida Home Pros team. He is very good at what he does. And today, well, there's a open house. Very good at that as well. Scott, it's been a moment since I said hello. Hello and welcome. You're on Florida Talk Real Estate. How are you, buddy?
Hey, guys. Good morning. How we doing?
Good, Scott. Good to hear from you.
Hey, guys.
Okay, hold on. Hey, Scott. Is he sound off to you, or is it just me?
Sounds like he's on the CB, the CB radio.
Yeah. Do you have us on speaker, Scott?
No, let me try this right here.
Okay, that's better.
Okay, excellent. I just pulled over on the side of I-95 and stopped. So maybe it's better when I'm not moving, right?
Yes, it's much better when you're not moving. Don't drive and do the open house thing because we don't want a live crash on the air. Okay. We don't want that. Are you okay?
I'm pulled over. Yeah, I'm pulled over. I'm good now, guys. I'm going to be back up in Port St. Lucie for another open house that is also right off of Becker Road in 95. Super convenient if you're traveling south to Palm Beach County or to Broward County even maybe. You can make it literally from Okeechobee Boulevard to this home in probably 45 to 55 minutes depending on traffic. You also got pretty easy access to the turnpike if you wanted to take that route. I'm going to be, guys, at 4134 Southwest Alice Street in Port St. Lucie. This is a beautiful single-family home, and I call it an entertainer's paradise. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,600 square feet under air. It has an amazing open concept to the kitchen. It's got a beautiful screen enclosed pool in the back where it's got an overhang that's covered, lanai area where you could set up for furniture, just entertaining, overlooking the pool. It's got a detached building where you could set up a workshop. Just a really, really awesome home that would be amazing for a growing family or any family for that matter. But just really a great home for entertaining. And I'm going to be out there, guys, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And again, that's at 4134 Southwest Alice Street in Port St. Lucie.
Hey, Scott, I'm going to talk to you just 1 second. Johnny, did you say we have a caller?
No.
Okay. I didn't know. Okay. I thought there was a note behind there saying that there was a caller. Sorry about that. Hey, Taylor, go ahead and put the video back on. So check this out, guys. Our new technology. I just want to say this for the first time ever, while Scott was talking about the open house on Facebook and YouTube on our show live, we're showing the video of the house as Scott was talking about it. And amazingly, what Scott was saying, a lot of the stuff was coming up on the video while he was saying it, like the features. So I thought that was kind of funny. So if you guys want to find out more about this house, if you go to Florida Talk Real Estate or YouTube, and this is going to be happening from now on, you can actually watch the videos of the open houses that we're talking about while we're talking about on the show. You can check it out. So don't forget to like and subscribe to those pages, guys. Okay, now back to Alice Street. Let me tell you, I love 4134 Alice Street. That is an awesome, awesome house. I had so much fun shooting the videos for that house. I'm being honest with you. I'm not sure when I want to buy a new home yet, but I was actually thinking of buying this one when I looked at it. I was so close. The house is just really awesome. I love the split bedroom plan. Not one side of the house, but one part of the house is like a master bedroom suite. And then the other 3 bedrooms with the common bath is in the other part of the house. The cabana bath, the third full bathroom for this house, is a real cabana bath, meaning it's in a detached building that's part of the screen enclosure. And not only do they have that big entertainment room we were talking about, and if you saw it on the video, it's really large. It's really a great place to go watch movies or to watch a great sporting event. If I was watching some MMA thing or maybe the Super Bowl, something, that would be an awesome place to have a party and watch it. But then you have the backyard and has a bar over there in the entertainment center. But then in the cabana, backyard, it's with the heated pool, and it's got another bar area where it has room for a smoker and a grill in the backyard, which is really, really nice. So you got to check this house out. I think we have it on the market at $550,000. I hope Bob and Don are listening to us right now, because they don't know this, but we got an offer at about 11 o'clock last night. So one of my phone calls when we get off the show is to call Bob and Don, the owners of the property, to talk about their offer. So congratulations, you got your first offer. Your first offer came within 28 hours after we put it on the market. Sorry, I took so long. And by the way, it's above asking price with the guarantee to pay a certain amount above appraised value. So we got to check out that deal. That was 28 hours on the market, guys. So it's still a very hot market. We're not necessarily taking that offer. So Scott is not out there for the open house for no reason. We just got the offer. We haven't reviewed it. We're not going to accept any offers till Monday. So everybody, if you're interested in this house, you have the money to make an offer, but go ahead and check it out today and say hello to Scott. That would be awesome.
I like the video, Jim. I saw pictures. There's a lot left to see that the video didn't show, especially in the entertaining, the pool area. Scott, you should talk about that, because it really is something.
Yeah, let me make a correction right away, and thank you, Mike. It's been a long day already. The house is 575, not 550. Okay, that's so November of last year. So it's 575. I'm sorry, we're putting a bunch of houses on the market right after you get through this open house. You're going to understand, because I have a bunch of houses to talk about. So this house is at 575, 4 bedroom, 3 bath, 2 car garage, rock waterfall pool, 2 different bar areas, entertainment room, living room, and family room with an open kitchen area. So go ahead, Scott and Mike.
I was going to tell you also, Jim, it's upgraded too with impact windows. So, I mean, this homeowner has maintained and upgraded this property very well as they've owned it.
Absolutely. We've already got an insurance quote for this property on the listing because Komarinetz from Brightway Insurance already did it. So one of the things we do with our listings is we actually put the insurance quotes we were talking about in the last segment on our listing so that the buyer's agent, the buyer, and the lender can start working with real numbers so that when they're turning in an offer, they're not giving us what they think. They can use real numbers to get the offer turned in.
And that home looks like when we say Mac Daddy turnkey, that's it.
Bless you, Johnny.
Good Lord. The video feels like that's the epitome of what we're talking about. Mac Daddy turnkey ready to go.
Yeah, and I want to wrap up on this one, but man, the other thing he did is, you know how you have those flat roofs in the back, kind of like in a lot of people's houses, they have the flat roof. Well, this is a large kind of flat roof area. It's super large. It's probably 300 square feet, I'm guessing, 250, 300 square feet. But what they did is that they took out the columns and they put in tiki grade, huge cypress logs with stone baluster anchors on the ground. And then they had a cedar tongue and groove ceiling. It looks so cool, right? It's just such a cool vibe. It would be great for entertaining a family that's growing or a family that's already grown and they're looking to upsize. There's just so many opportunities with that house. So you got to check it out. 4134 Alice Street, 575. We already have offer on the house above asking price. So you guys got to get out there, take a look at it. And say hello to Scott. And if this is not your house, maybe Scott can find you the next one.
What time is the open house?
Go ahead, Scott.
We're going to be out there from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., Johnny. And like Jim said, we do have an offer, but the seller's not going to be accepting an offer until Monday. So if you're interested in this home, you still have time to get in the game. I would love to see you out there today from 11 to 2. Again, that's at 4134 Southwest Alice Street. And guys, I want to get off the side of 95 now and get up there and get ready. Have a great rest of the show.
My man, Scott, thank you very much. And as Jimmy D always likes to say, go ahead, Jim DePola.
Scott, do me a favor. Sell that house.
Here it is, my man. Go check that house out. If you're watching the video, streaming with us here, Facebook or YouTube, really, really, really nice home. As Scott and Jim noted, it's been cared for by the homeowner beyond. I mean, you talk about maintenance. It's been done, and the upgrades are evident. It's a beautiful home. Check out the video and go check out the home for yourself. I'll start at 11 o'clock with Scott Spainhour up there in Port St. Lucie.
Yeah, I wanted to get into, thank you, Scott, and I'm sure that's going to be a very successful open house. One of the things that we do, Johnny, that we weren't doing as much as when you were with us earlier, but what we're doing now with the team is we're actually calling the neighborhood really hard in order to see, to let the neighborhood know that there's a house on the market. Because one of the things that we realized, and we've been doing this for years, but we're doing it different now, but we've been doing a concept of this for years, is you call the neighbors. And one of the reasons why you call the neighbors is the listing agent to let them know and invite them to the open house. Not because you necessarily think usually that the neighbors are going to buy your house, but the neighbors might know somebody who wants to buy the house.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my cousin's looking for something, or my brother wants to move in the neighborhood, or hey, got a buddy at work that loves the neighborhood. So they might have people to come. This is really unusual. This house is such a Mac Daddy house, right near Becker Road. It's great for the commute for Palm Beach County. It's great for up there. It's super large. It's got all these features. We already had 8 people in the neighborhood said they're going to, make an appointment to stop by to see Scott today to take a look at the house. So we know the house is going to show really fast and really big today. So, that market is still there. We're still in a frothy market where we have a lot of activity going on. And what's going to happen now is the owners of this property, Bob and Don, what they're going to be doing is they're going to be selling this house, using the proceeds from this house, and then buying a new house with that money. And they have to do it at the same time, or they're going to be homeless in the transition if we don't do this right. So, Johnny, what do we call those people? Seller buyers.
Seller buyer. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute.
Buyer.
Which one goes first? It's the seller goes first.
Yep. So, oh yeah, you were trying to figure
Well,
buyer
buyer,
seller. You
seller,
would
no.
say buyer seller. So seller buyer. So that's one of the toughest real estate transactions you can do. Right. It's always been tough, but it's super tough now. It's not for the faint of heart. You've got
Delicate
to sell the
dance.
house. Sorry, right, Johnny?
Delicate dance.
It really is. It's a delicate dance, and I call it a chess move. And you have to have all your chess pieces in the right spot so you could strike right. And what does that mean about chess pieces and positioning yourself? Language in contracts, negotiation in the contracts on the front end, the sale of the home, and the back end on the purchase of the home, so that you don't get trapped or stuck if something goes wrong with one side or the other. Making sure that you understand that the buyer, what your buyer is doing when they're buying your house, right? So when my people are looking at their buyer, we want to know their situation. Maybe they're relying on a house that needs to sell to buy, right? Or the seller of the house that we want to buy, maybe they have plans that they're counting on us for. And a good agent is going to know all of that, not just their little domain of, hey, my person wants to sell my house and buy a new home, and they're not thinking about any of those big things. You got to think about all of this stuff to make this happen. Now, here's what everybody says, including Bob and Dawn. They really wanted to sell the house and downsize and move to a different part of Port St. Lucie County. But the issue is how am I going to sell my house? And then what the heck am I going to buy? And can I afford it? And is it going to be worth what I'm going to buy? And am I going to be happy? All of those things are real. Those are all real concerns. But the consulate, we met with them, I think 2 or 3 times before we actually made the decision to go ahead and move forward with this. It was a very big decision for a family to make this. So we had 3 meetings before we decided to move forward and be confident that this was the right thing for them to do. And one of the things is that when Mike talked to him, I don't want to get into personal stuff, but he thought it would be good for them to talk to our financial advisor before making any of these decisions. And I was thinking, and when Mike called me up and he told me that, he hasn't told me that maybe ever or maybe in a long time, that he felt that somebody needed to go to a financial advisor. And the first thing that popped in my head, I got an awesome team, right? Isn't this cool? I mean, that he cares enough about the customer before he even becomes a customer to go ahead and check everything out to make sure this is the right decision for the family, right? And making sure all that's okay. And that's the kind of effort that makes me proud that the Florida Talk Real Estate Radio Show is your one-stop real estate shop. So I'm really, I got my fingers crossed for Bob and Dawn that everything's going to go well. We're doing all the right things the right way. So far, we've hit every check mark of every step of the process, the way that our systems work. The next step is Natalie Medina Rao, one of our top agents, is going to be going out and showing Bob and Dawn new properties while we have their house on the market. Now, the last thing I want to say about that, Bob and Dawn, when we first met the first time or two, and on the phone, Johnny, you've had many phone calls with Bob leading up to this, right?
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, and a lot of thought went into this, and this wasn't like a rash decision for them. It was a very big decision. And so Natalie told me that she's had consultation with the family, and they have, I think, 4 or 5 properties to choose from. And let me tell you, or to look at. And 4 to 5 properties right now is a lot. Some people, we have to say there isn't anything now, but we know that they'll come up. We have to jump on it. So the thing is, Bob and Dawn are biting at the bit to go out and look at these houses. So don't tell me, and I don't want to hear from most people when they tell me, yeah, you know, this is a terrible time to buy, so I'm not selling because I can't find what I want. Bob and Dawn are not trying to buy anything. They're going to be picky. They want what they want. So they're not going to be buying something they don't want.
No, not at all. Like you said, there's a lot of thought that's been going into this, including, what that transition means for them. They have certain needs and desires, and that criteria has to be met. They're not going to settle. and you'll make it happen one way or another. I know it.
We do it all the time.
All the time.
Here we go. Lynn and Michael. We just closed a condo for them. Congratulations to them. Everybody says it's so hard to do this. Lynn and Michael P. We got them into the condo. They're super happy. Congratulations to that. Thank you, Scott, for working on that. We put 4339 Winchester Lane under contract. We didn't even have a chance to do the open house. I couldn't even tell anybody to sell this house. It sold itself. It was basically one day on market. It's a fixer. The family needed to get it done right away, and we got it done in one day. So congratulations to Jan and Rob. And thank you so much for trusting us. And we just went under contract, so we got a little ways to go, but everything's looking good. Now, a couple other people we are going to be putting next week. We're going to be talking about 7402 Prescott Lane. That's coming on market very, very soon. This is a beautiful 4-bedroom, 3-bath, single-family home, 2,500 square feet under air, 29 under roof, in Lake Charleston, desirable Lake Charleston and Lake Worth gated community, or not a gated community, but a nice community. And we're going to be putting that house on the market for $650,000. Great pool, really nice upgrades. They took a screen enclosure and turned it into under air, and they turned it into a bar entertainment area. So it's a perfect place if you want to throw darts or if you want to put a pinball machine in, and then it has the full bar, and it's already kind of decked out with a bunch of stuff. It's pretty cool. I love that place. What are you laughing about, Mike?
Oh, pinball machine. Just,
Well, some people like pinball machines.
I guess so. Yeah.
I know a dude who collects loves vintage pinball machines.
Yeah,
Has,
that's
his
what I'm
garage
saying.
outfitted with
We should tell him about this house because we have a perfect place for his vintage pinball machine.
Absolutely, we do. So we're going to be putting that on the market now. When we put that on the market, that family also is turning into seller buyers. They're selling their house and going to buy a new house, and they need the proceeds from the house to buy the new house. Also, on top of it, we don't know what house they're buying right now, just like with Bob and Dawn, but we're putting the house on the market. Why are we able to do that without freaking them out? That they're afraid that they're going to sell their house before they find their new home, which is very likely, is because of the contracts, the way we write the contracts and the terms to make sure that they're not going to be trapped to sell the home if they can't buy their new home. Okay.
Oh, I thought maybe you started like a mobile motel business or something like that.
Yeah, that would be great. I should just buy like a 8-unit. It's like move into my place for a month.
Come on in.
So the thing is that's what the process of the seller buyer is, the seller buyer. And the reason why I'm pushing this so hard today, there's a lot of people out there that don't realize it, that they would be much better off to be the seller buyer right now than to say, you know what, this market's a little crazy, I'm going to wait. Because what we're probably going to be seeing, guys, is that the interest rates are not going to be going down anytime soon, and that prices may start slowing down. Okay. I think that's going to happen in the next 4 to 6 months, maybe faster.
The key word there is slowing down. So I think some people have this idea of, well, it's going to stop and prices are going to come down. No. It's just going to slow the increases that we've seen. That's the reality. We're just going to see this super hot market turn a little bit more warmish. You're still going to see, increases. You're still going to see values going up, just not at the ridiculous rate we've been seeing for the last few years.
Mike and I did a video several months ago. Got to go to YouTube channel, Florida Talk Real Estate, and watch this stuff. We talked about this months and months ago. We are the number one information provider, what it's like, boots on the ground, out in the field every day. Mike, when we did that video, what was the video about? What would happen if the interest rates shifted from?
We talked about what happens when they go from 3 to 5.
And where are we right now, Mike?
Yeah. Guess what? In 3 months, we've gone from basically 3 to 5. How about that? How about that for predict? And we were doing that kind of hey, what happens when they go to 5 over the next, year or two? And here we are 3 months later. And it's happened just like that. I mean, this is another one, Jim, and I don't know, you probably want to take the break before we get into it, but this is the one where that generic pre-approval, Johnny, if you were out there, you got pre-approved in December, and you've been out shopping with that pre-approval letter, guess what? You're going to be in trouble because you're not approved for the same purchase price as you were back then if you were kind of pushing your limits. But maybe
and insurance rates have gone up since then too.
Yes. So
finally, Ross isn't the only one with the increasing number. Now I got to hang my head with Ross and be like,
I'm not like like the last 2 years. It's just Ross is always the bearer of bad news. Ross is the bad guy. Like, it's nice,
But we love
Thanks,
you,
Mike.
Ross.
Welcome.
You can't kill the messenger, right? You can't kill the messenger, right? Not at all. But the thing is that this market is changing. I don't want to go into the 3 to 5% thing right now. We probably will, but you got to check out that video. We go over some numbers, some math behind it, and everything, and we weren't even including the insurance stuff. Hey, I'm not sure if we're going to take the break or power through because we have a caller on the air.
Cool.
Why don't we go ahead and take that, and then we're going to go right into interest rates right after that, I think.
And we got to get some details on
we're gonna
training. Yeah.
So Jimothy or Johnny, can you tell me like 4 minutes before the show?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I hear the reverb.
We give you that toll-free number all the time. We tell you Florida Talk Real Estate is at .com, your one-stop real estate shop. And of course, we give you the toll-free number when we're on the radio. Saturdays, 9 until 11, your 2 hours of infotainment. It's toll-free, 877-927-6969. You dial it. Jimothy will put you on hold there, get some information, and boom, we put you on air like Fred is here. Hello, Fred. Welcome. You're on Florida Talk Real Estate.
Hello,
How are you, man? How are you?
I'm doing very well today.
Good. Nice to hear that.
Our house with Jim, and I feel very confident.
I appreciate that perspective because, I would feel the same way.
Hey, Jim has been there. We've been going through a divorce and getting things settled, and finally that's all processed, and it's time to move forward. And Jim's been real patient with us and getting things orchestrated and listing the house. And I'm downright excited about this whole thing.
Yeah, and Fred, you're going to be buying a new home in the process with Scott. So you're kind of looking for houses right now, right? So the inventory for you is really tight. No joke around. I mean, it's tight for everybody, but it's really tight. Do you feel like we have the systems in place to help you be aggressive, to move forward to find what you're looking for?
Oh, absolutely. Scott's been fantastic. He set me up with an MLS access port where, we talked about where I want to look and price ranges, and he basically put in a range or an area, and I just get notifications when anything moves or happens in that area that keeps me completely abreast of what's going on in my search.
Absolutely.
I'm a little more obviously.
Yeah, and then what's going to happen is as soon as it goes live, we're hoping that either Fred or Scott sees it right away, and somebody's going to go out there and take a look at it if it's a hot one. Because you don't have any time. Remember, I just told you we put a house on the market 28 hours ago. We already got our first above asking price offer. So we're going to do it. And one of the things that I really think that's smart about what Fred's home search is doing, and this is a tip for other buyers, Fred realizes the value of buying a house that's a fixer-upper on purpose so that he'll put the sweat equity into it after he purchases it. There's a bunch of good reasons for doing that in today's market. Number one, less people want to look at that house or put offers on it because not everybody's willing to do that. So that blocks out some competition. Okay. Number two, you're probably going to get more equity in the house when you're done. So if you're putting, let's say, 20% down on a house and then you put the extra work into it, you might end up having 25%, 28%, 30% equity with boost on top, including the 20%. So most people, they just have the equity when they buy it, whatever the down payment is when they move in. But the fixer-upper people, they get a bonus equity from the work usually they put into it.
Sure.
Right? So there's just so many opportunities. And even if you don't have the money to put into the house yourself, Mike has available construction loans. So you buy the house and then you can use a loan to do the construction on the house. Right? So there's a bunch of different ways to handle this, and every market's a little different. So looking for that super Mac Daddy home might not be in your budget, but there are ways to get into the neighborhood you want to get into, and maybe possibly a lower budget, and then you put the sweat equity into it to situate yourself in that neighborhood. It's an awesome move.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that things are moving along for you there, Fred, and I can hear the excitement in your voice. It's it's a beautiful thing when you're out there and looking for the potential next home to call yours.
It's exciting. And Jim and Scott have been making it really easy looking. Like I said, the right item hasn't popped up yet, but I feel very confident in going into listing the house next week that something will come up and it'll work out. I mean, I know it will. You got a team behind you. The team's been working with you.
Well, thank you, Fred. And hey, can you go ahead and give a shout out to your business, because you own a pool company? Can you tell us the name of the company, like what areas you work in, like what are the services you do? Because you've been around forever.
Pool company. We started the pool company in '91. It's Carlson Ross Pool and Spa. We cover all of Palm Beach County. Pretty much, it's more Boynton up to Jupiter, a little bit less in Boca, but it's time to sell what I have. We've owned this house for over 20 years, and I'm going to downsize. Kids have grown up and moved out, so it's time to make a little bit of a change and start anew. And Jim's been there the whole way to help us through it, even waiting patiently for paperwork to be signed.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, I'm looking forward to Tuesday to do the videos, and we're going to go over there and do videos, and we're going to be shooting 3D stuff, and we're going to be doing regular HD photography. Can't wait to go over there, knock that out for you on Tuesday.
That's really exciting. It's such a beautiful house. I've loved it all these years. It's going to be sad to part with it, but I know it'll be a great new home for maybe a younger family. The split plan, the rooms. You mentioned 4-3, actually 4-2.5, but it's a perfect layout.
Yep, sorry about that. I'm having big fact errors today. I gotta do a little better show prep. I'm sorry. It's just I was at so many people's houses this week, so I apologize. Hey, Fred, we're gonna go because I wanna talk to Mike about the interest rates, which you're gonna want to listen to because you're a buyer too. So we're gonna listen carefully, okay?
I'm going to be listening. I just want to touch base and say thank you for all you've done, and I look forward to this going the photo shoot and it going live next week. I know someone's going to find a great home out of this. It's a beautiful place.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Talk to you later, Fred.
Yeah, Fred, thanks for putting your trust in the team. That's Florida Talk Real Estate. That's a .com, floridatalkrealestate.com, your one-stop real estate shop. Before we transition into interest rates, can I ask a question that kind of piggybacks on what you just mentioned?
Sure.
So Fred's going to be looking for more of a fixer-upper, put some sweat equity in. And you mentioned about how there's loan options for construction-type loans. Mike, is that a loan you get when you purchase the home, saying, hey, I'm going to buy this home and then I'm going to do this to it, and you kind of lay out what you're going to do, and then you get the loan based on the purchase price and what it's going to cost for the reno?
Yeah, essentially it's a renovation loan, and so you're closing a single loan, but it's kind of split into two chunks. One is the acquisition amount, and then there's the renovation budget. So yeah, you close on the loan with money left over to do the renos.
So is it like a force pay type situation where you have to do those improvements?
Yeah, you basically, before you close on the loan, you're going to have all of the work that's going to be done listed out. Like, you know exactly where that money's going. You've got quotes for the work. You've connected with contractors to do the work, and yeah, you pretty much need to execute the plan that was put together before closing.
So this doesn't sound like an outlandish question, being April 2nd of 2022. What happens when you get your quotes, you get your loan, and then you go to get the job done, and they're like, oh, we can't do it for that anymore?
There's some padding built in for like overruns, cost overruns, budget changes, and things like that. But you do really need to be sharp with your quotes, and you try and get into something where it's not going to change. You know, a lot of contractors will try to price in, time and materials, and those aren't really the type of quotes that are going to work for this type of thing. So you want to be as sharp as possible, make sure the numbers don't change. I think the big challenge when you're doing the reno loan is finding properties where you can acquire it, you can purchase it sufficiently below what the after improved value is going to be, right? Because there is still an appraisal in here. And frankly, sellers in this market don't appreciate the amount that it's going to take to renovate, right? Like just sellers don't think that their home is in that bad a shape, right? Like they're like, oh no, I could sell it for top dollar anyway, which is a challenge.
Does skin in the game alter that number the same way? So you're talking about buying a home where you can have the equity positioning with the right renovation. If you throw enough money into it, does that position yourself similarly?
So you're still doing a loan based on the value, which is the after improved value. So it's kind of like, yes, if you have more money, you can do a different loan to value. If you're doing 50% LTV, then it doesn't really, you have wiggle room, right? Because you don't really care so much about what the after improved value is going to be. But if you're doing 95 loan to value, or even FHA, there's an FHA product too, 3.5% down or 96.5 LTV, then your money is tight, right? And so, yeah, the more money you have, I would say the easier it is to navigate that type of loan.
And then one more quick question, Jim. We'll slide more into interest rates here. Does something like putting in a pool, does that work for that type loan product as well, or do you not quite get the equity? I understand the pool doesn't quite give you the pop like some renovations can, but could that qualify? Oh, am I asking you a question?
Yeah. So there's streamlined process, which basically is going to eliminate luxury items like that, and then there's ones that are called like a full renovation. I think a pool can be part of that, although I'm not 100%.
Gotcha. But you can get that answer if need be at Florida.
Yeah, I can certainly look it up. I just don't want to say the wrong thing. I would say typically these are things like, kitchen remodels, roofs, windows, doors, things that don't necessarily change the footprint on the home. And then if you're under a certain dollar amount for those changes, you're going to be under the streamlined process, which is a little bit easier on the front end as far as like what are the exact things that you're going to be doing. So I have to look and see if a pool is
does it work like all the way down to like a really dilapidated type home where it's like structural and even like foundational issues?
I want to say yes, Johnny, but each home is going to be different, and so you have to look at what it's going to take. And I think there's always the difference between what it takes to purchase the home and what it takes to renovate it, and what's the total package going to be once it's done. And like I said, sellers in this market don't always appreciate how much it's going to take to get the home up to market value with the neighbors.
So a great example of how I always said every situation is like a snowflake. They're all very unique in their own, and why you got to go to people that are not only good at what they do, but great at what they do to be able to get the answers, to get you on the right path, regardless of what you're doing. Florida Talk Real Estate.com.
And just one more note on that, Jim. So, and this Jim can appreciate this. These reno loans can oftentimes take months and months, right? Especially based on availability of contractors. And so if you're kind of want to be a seller buyer, or you're looking for something that's move-in ready, or even something that's like, hey, we can move into half the house while we're doing the renos and the other half, you really got to think about that, right? So it's not for the faint of heart. And it's also not like an investor style project, right? This is for homes that you're going to be living in and occupying. So they sound good in theory. Sometimes when it comes to reality, it's a little bit tougher to get done for a variety of reasons.
Sure, you got to work with people that are very good at what they do, though. Jim, let's go ahead and shift into a little more interest rates.
Yes.
Wait, I thought we were going to talk about Ross's charity.
Well,
he wants 4 minutes at the end.
4 minutes. So we got like probably 6 minutes to talk to. We got like 6 minutes to talk about the interest rates. So let's.
You got 10 minutes.
Oh, we got 10.
Elaborate, Michael. Elaborate.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry.
What are you doing
got
this
this
weekend?
fire that turned in the offer. He keeps blowing up my phone. Because he wants an answer. It's like he's not getting an answer right now, and I can't talk to him because he's got an agent. So this is an interesting thing. Agent turns in an offer. Buyer keeps calling me directly to talk to me directly. I can't do that. I'm not allowed to talk to the buyer. I got to talk to the buyer's agent. So now I'm sure the buyer thinks I'm. Now I'm sure the buyer's thinking I'm a jerk.
Does that count for any communication, Jim? Like talking, texting, emailing?
Well, it's just better not to. I don't want to get into the gray area. I never want an agent thinking that I'm trying to sway the buyer one way or the other or anything, and having that kind of problem. It's like, I'll call the agent and just explain to them, I'll answer any questions you want, but I got to go through your agent. You know what I mean? I got to tell the agent, you got to let your buyer know. Okay, so let's get into the interest rates. So for the first time that I didn't have the time to do all the research on it, but I can't remember the last time that the interest rates went up. Now we're using the Freddie Mac report. The Freddie Mac report is not really what's happening in the market right now. It's showing the trend of the market. So these numbers are going to be very different when you apply for the loan. And we're going to talk about that when we talk to Mike. But just to set the standards, December 30th, 2021, our interest rate was 3.11. So basically, effectively, the last day of the year, we were at 3.11. Last week, we were at 4.42. That's pretty surprising in itself. But then from last week until this week, we got up to 4.67, which is a full 0.25 above the week before, a whole quarter point. So we've gone up 1.56 in 12 weeks, 1.5 in 12 weeks. Okay. Now, at the end of last year, when the Fed said that they were going to start raising rates, and you got to remember, this is before the Ukrainian situation with high inflation. Am I reverbing really bad? With high inflation, but not the Ukrainian war. The Feds were going to raise the rates to try to slow down inflation and cool things off. But all the economists said, no big deal. We're going to go from 3.11 to 3.7. Some of the doomsdayers were like 4.4. And now we're at 4.67, and it's April 1st. This is not April Fool's Day joke either, right? So we went 1.5 in 12 weeks. This was so predictable. We went through this in 2018. 2018, they started raising the rates the first time since the Great Recession. We went up a point in 6 weeks. And then we had a slowdown because of COVID. And then we went to the lowest interest rate recorded ever in the history of the United States, 2.65 on January 7th, 2021. Okay. And now from January 7th, 2021 to April 2nd, 2022, we went from 2.65 to 4.67, which is a full 2 points. Every time a buyer loses a point, every time the interest rates go up a point, the buyers lose 10% now of their purchase power. So if you were shopping in January 21, I had a guy in January 2021, right when COVID hit. They didn't want to buy the house at that point. They decided they didn't want to buy a house because they thought the prices were too crazy, and they didn't care that the interest rates were low. They thought the market was too crazy. And with COVID, they felt like they could wait and take advantage of the market. They're buying this year with us. They're paying 1.5% more in the interest rate that they could have paid in 2021. And I checked it out, and they're paying about 25% more on the house they're going to buy than they would have bought in 2021. Okay? So don't try to predict the future of the market if you're not doing this every day. You've got to react with what's happening in the market. And what are we seeing? We're seeing extremely high increases in interest rates. I don't think that's going to be slowing down much. We're definitely going to be Freddie Mac 5%, meaning in Freddie Mac's world, it's 5%. But in real life, right, we're already there, right? Are we already there at 5%? Are people getting 5% mortgages right now?
Yeah, I mean, depending. So if you're on a conventional loan, and depending on if you're paying points or not, remember that Freddie rate that you're seeing is probably has 3/4 of a point or so to get that rate. So if you get 4.75 costing 0.75 in points. So that means if you weren't paying to 0.75, you might be at 5% very easily, right? So, and I'm locking loans above 5%, right? Cash out refinance with credit that's not in the best zone. You're maybe mid fives, right? If you're buying a condo.
What are they switching from, Mike? What's their current rate that they're refining? I know they're trying to get cash out, but what are they suffering in their interest rate?
I'll tell you what. So over the past 2 years, many of the refinances we were doing were like beneficial across the board. Like I say, what's the goal of your refi? All right, lower interest rate, lower payments, right? Cash out, all of the checking all the boxes. And so now the refis that we're looking at now are not checking all those boxes, Johnny. So it's about what's most important to you. Is it debt consolidation, right? Is it do you have special projects that you have to do in your home? Are you just so tight on the budget that you can lower your payments simply by stretching out your term, right? So even if you're at a higher rate, stretching out the term. So yeah, they're not like desperate to refinance, but they have very specific needs, and you're only doing that if it meets that need. Right. A lot of people just need to tap into their equity, Johnny, for whatever reason. Not luxury items, but necessary things.
So you mentioned buying points. Like, what is that? What's that process? How does that work? And how costly is that?
Okay, so if you want, you have to understand the concept of the par interest rate. Par is like the golf analogy, right? It's not above or below. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't pay you anything. That's the par rate. And so if you want a lower interest rate and therefore pay lower interest over the life of the loan and have a lower payment compared to the par rate, you pay points, right? Origination points or bona fide or bona fide points.
And that's a one-time payment?
Yeah, it's a one-time fee, and it basically buys down your rate to some number. And you would think like 1% in points, right? 1% of your loan, let's say a $400,000 loan. So if you pay $4,000, that doesn't buy you from 5% down to 4%, right? That might buy you from 5% down to 4.75, right? Maybe a quarter point or something for that 1 point. And there's no it's not linear, right? There's no exact math. It's all based on the market and there's people in the mortgage-backed security world who are predicting where rates are going to be and what's going to cost. But yeah, that's the concept. You can pay for a lower interest rate. If you're considering doing that, you simply calculate the savings you get per month, how long it's going to take you to recover that cost, and if you're going to be in the home that long or longer, then it made sense to buy the points if you can part with the cash right now. A lot of people aren't in position where they can part with the cash.
Okay, good. That was my next question. Is that cash out of pocket, or is that another thing that you can roll into your loan?
If you're refinancing, you can roll it in. If you're buying, if it's a purchase, then it's cash out of pocket. Yeah,
and it's always going to be a numbers game, right? Sorry, Jim.
No, go ahead, John.
I said it's always going to be a numbers game, right? So you're going to break it down. I've heard the conversations time and time again. I've had them with you about what's your plan. How do you, and that plan involves like how long you plan on being in the property, because there's break evens for all your loans, right? So there's a conversation to be had that you can lay this all out for people.
Let's say your par rate is 5%, and then just something in your brain's like, I want a rate with the 4 in front of it. Like, I just got to have a 4 point something. And you're going to say, okay, well, maybe it's like $1,000 to get down to 4.875, right? And that's going to save you $25 a month, right? So you could do the math on that. And so if you're going to be in there longer than, 4 years or whatever it is, then okay, it made sense, and you can part with that money. So your loan originator should be talking to you about that. Remember, when you're locking in a rate, you're not really locking in a specific rate. You're locking in that chart on that day. So you can slide up and down that points, scale as far as interest rates. The main question when you're locking is, do you want to lock today or do you want to float? Right? Do you want to wait and see what the market does tomorrow or next week or next month? And of course, my advice, especially in this market, is always lock. Like, lock is, I don't care how far out, lock it in. But sometimes you float. Sometimes if you're on a really far out, 60 day, 90 day, like a day, it might be worth floating, right? Just because you don't know where the market's going to be, and it's pretty expensive to lock on a really long-term lock. But Jim, I think Jim's prediction is it's going to continue to go up. If we're at 4.75 with Freddie now, where are we going to be next week? Is it another quarter point? Right? Is it less than that?
I feel like there's a chance that we'll start seeing it flattening out a little bit, where we're not going to get a quarter point. You can't expect a quarter point increase every week. And even in this big increase, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 12 weeks, 5, 6. We've had at least 6 of the 12 weeks where we were flat or went down a little bit from the week before.
Yeah.
So there's increases, and then flat or nearly flat, just a little down over 6 of those 12 weeks. So it's like 50-50. Sometimes it's gone up really high, like last week, and then you'll see flat. So it might flatten a little bit, but I think by the end of the year, we're definitely going to be in the 5s. And depending, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit the 6 for the first time since like 2009 or something, or 2012 or something like that. Like we're going to be going deep very soon.
Yeah, I think one thing, I don't know if just real quick, when we did that video, Jim, we talked about, well, what happens when it goes to 3 to 5? If you're sitting here waiting for prices to come down, how far do they have to come down to tolerate that jump in interest rate? And it was something like 10%. And guess what, guys? We have gone up 2 full interest points, which is equivalent to 20% on the prices. We have not had a 20% reduction in housing prices. I do think that has to kind of level off, maybe even decline slightly, but is it going to come down 20% from current levels?
From January, yes, from January 2021, when we had the lowest interest rate on record until now, which is 2 points, Mike, right? So we're only talking 14 months. In 14 months, according to the national statistics, we were at 20, about 25, sometimes 30% for the average county increase over that year. So we went up 25%, even though that we went up 2 points.
We got to talk more on this. Let's more time for interest rates next time, guys.
Yeah, we will next week. But let's get into Ross now. Let's get a hot Ross.
Hot Ross.
Hot Ross. So Ross, explain. It's for cystic fibrosis, right?
Cystic fibrosis, yes.
So tell us about it again. I still get this creepy idea of you like paddling towards the shore, 81 miles away at night with the waves. Don't like that.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a good thing I'm not going to be by myself. You know, there's going to be a bunch of other people doing it, but it is a fundraiser and, you know, also awareness for cystic fibrosis and fundraising for a cure, or also to help with families with children with cystic fibrosis, and they do a lot for those people. So it is a fundraiser. We are paddling from Bimini, Bahamas, all the way to Lake Worth Beach in one evening and part of a day. Hopefully, not so much of the day. Get there quick. But yeah, there's a bunch of people doing it. We're raising money. I've got a little fundraiser on my Facebook page, and I believe on Florida Talk Real Estate, it's on there too. So if you want to come or if you want to donate, please do. If you want to show up on the beach and congratulate us, that'd be awesome too. Yeah. It's June 26th. It's when we do it, and so we got a lot of time to get ready for it. I'm going to try and do 20 miles tomorrow, so we'll see.
Wow, you're up to 20 miles now.
What's the name of it again, Ross? The whole thing?
Crossing for a Cure, or Crossing for Cystic Fibrosis. It's either Crossing for a Cure or Crossing for Cystic Fibrosis. It was one or the other, and then it switched.
A couple weeks ago, we were saying you hadn't gone more than 3 miles or 5 miles or something. Now you're up to 20 miles.
No, a month ago, I'd done like 13.
Yeah, but when we first talked about this.
Oh, yeah.
You were like at 3 miles, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like, you know, when you're doing anything, you got to start at mile 1 somewhere.
Yep, that's so true.
But you're really stretching it out. You're going to be hitting the 20-mile mark here pretty soon. That's awesome. Would you say maybe tomorrow, huh?
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
hey,
that's going to be crazy.
Ross, thanks for doing that. And thanks for supporting community cause like that. I know it's very important to you personally. So thank you so much. We're going to promote it. I'm going to ask the film crew to come to the beach and film you. I'm going to ask them to come there maybe when you get there and stuff. That'll be a fun video to have.
Yeah, that is a really cool video. If you can, go on Florida Talk Real Estate Facebook or Ross's if you know, and give what you can. If you can give $5, $10, even if we all just give a couple bucks, he'll shoot way past his goal. How close are you to your goal at this point, Ross?
So I hit the minimum. You know, when you sign up, you have a minimum goal that you have to get. Whether you get it or not, it's coming out of your pocket or your donations. And I've hit that goal, but I'm a little competitive, so I increased my goal.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get there.
Let's help Ross reach his goal and shoot way past it. Check everything out on Florida Talk Real Estate Facebook or Ross's page if you're connected like that. And if you are, man, good for you. But please do what you can. I know times are tough for everybody, but little can go a long, long way. And Ross is doing an amazing job. Jimmy D, any parting words before I give everybody the details and get on out of here?
Just go to the open house today, 11 to 2, 4134 out Southwest Alice Street in Port St. Lucie. Scott's there waiting to say hello to you.
Beautiful. Get those details. Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook. You can find it at floridatalkrealestate.com. That's your one-stop real estate shop. Know it, love it, share it. You can change lives by sending people to floridatalkrealestate.com. Give them some pros, experts in their field. Get them all. floridatalkrealestate.com. Mike Rauch, mortgage guy, mortgage firm. Have a great weekend.
You too, Johnny. Thanks, everybody.
Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Enjoy the paddling this weekend. I hope the weather treats you well.
Thank you. Hope everybody has a good weekend.
And Jim DePaola, Florida Home Pros, Keller Williams Innovations. I know you're extremely busy. Good luck with all the chaos that is ensuing, and that is listings and buyers and interest rates and oh my.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny, can't wait to see you guys next week. Have a great weekend.
Stick around. You got
and
the
happy
locker room.
birthday to Hallie.
Oh, thank you very much. Joe and Greg and Jimothy, they're going to take you from here. The locker room is next. We'll see you next Saturday. Florida Talk Real Estate right here on Real Radio.